Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for February 25th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. Imagine that this civilization, as the one, comes to a full understanding that we move our attention from our heads to our hearts, and we stay in our hearts. We shift from thinking into feeling and discover how simple this life really is. The heart simply loves whatever comes its way. That is a crucial piece of our transition. Shift from thinking into feeling. Huge difference. Because when you do that, you literally move out of the mind. You operate from the heart. Big difference. That way the ego and the mind cannot dilute and distract you. So you literally live from the heart. And you stop thinking and start feeling. Big difference. The heart's much more powerful than the mind. And when we use our hearts, you don't have fear. You don't have anxiety. You don't have worry. That's all in the mind. Always has been. And it is for each and every one of us to determine, to decide for ourselves. There really, isn't, it's not like someone else is going to do it for you. It is you who practices it. And eventually, you stay there. And this is when we drop the idea of becoming someone. Some people will say, I'm going to be somebody. You already are. You're already a masterpiece. You can't be improved. You have only to come to know it and realize it. And the God has created you. You can't be improved. Period. And for us, these are all pieces to our transition. It's how we discover ourselves and determine, like letting go of your past. And consciously letting go of your past. When your heavy emotional ties from yesteryear are released, you have more space and time to feel this deep healing presence that you are. What was is not as important as what is here, right now. What was is not as important as what is here, right now. The illiterate of this world are not those who cannot read or write. It is those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. It is a self-discovery, knowing that the universe doesn't make mistakes. And I don't think that many of us focus on that to understand what that really means. Not to be concerned that you may make a fatal choice, because there aren't any of those. There's no such thing as fatal choices. And your inner being is always guiding you, the God, the soul, and you're always finding balance. It is a never-ending process. It is constant. And trying to change your outer world is futile. You drop any demand to change your outer world and use that same energy and attention to heal your reaction inside you. And when your thoughts and feelings shift from pointing outward to going within, people will feel that inward connection and start reflecting that back to you. It's by far the greatest miracle to witness on this planet today. And see, these are all understandings. It's like you take one step in front of the other. Each one you contemplate, you hold for a minute so you can focus and understand what that step means. And you literally, things start to unfold. You begin to understand to not waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. You see, waste your life. Don't waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. Trust life deeply. Trust God deeply. If you trust, only then can you drop your knowledge. Only then can you put your mind aside. And with trust, something immense opens up. Then this life is no longer an ordinary life. It becomes full of God overflowing. That's Osho. This is all about us working, with ourselves. You see how much energy that we expend outside of ourselves? Thoughts. And thoughts, we know that fear is thought. But in the mind, fear can grip you and take you. And it expands. Because the ego is never satisfied with just a certain amount of fear. It continually feeds more and more fear. But when you're in the heart, there is no fear. The mind doesn't have the control. Understanding what your soul's purpose is, to experience. To experience. And then you start discovering that you are deep, peaceful bliss within you right now. All this externality, all this stuff that draws us externally, it constantly distracts us. And it makes us impatient, hurried, rushed. And one of the biggest things that we generate is stress. Stress comes in many different forms. Fear, anxiety. And you get to the point where you know that your mind, this is one of the key ingredients of understanding. You realize that the mind is the one that conjures all this stuff up that you end up being immersed in. It's the mind. See, and then when you begin to really grasp that, you then understand is that you're going to navigate into the heart out of the mind. And you're switching the flow of your godliness, because you're in the heart, and before the ego mind was dictating to your heart mind, instilling fear, anxiety, stresses, worry. But when you move into the heart mind and that's switched, you're then directing the heart and how the feelings toward the mind and the ego, they become directed by you through the heart-mind, not them directing you through your heart-mind, you directing them through your heart-mind. Does anything matter so much where we should throw ourselves into a state of panic about it? No happening on this planet is so important that we should let ourselves be exiled from inner peace and mental calm for its sake. Paul Brown. All of these pieces to the puzzle, you're snapping into place. And you're moving your heart-mind motion picture into view. You're assembling a clear understanding, slowly but surely, of who and what you are. And this affords you navigation through this life and a much easier and a deeper love and gratitude experience. Most of us are so busy experiencing through the ego mind. And sometimes you'll sit back and you'll realize that, man, this is exhausting to live through the ego mind and not the heart mind. It's absolutely exhausting. And we all feel it in different ways at certain times. Because most of us have never lived through the heart mind for any extended period of time. Because we're so distracted all the time by the ego mind drawing us outside of ourselves in this external world, which is fleeting. We're always with ourselves eternally. But this world is fleeting. It's temporary. This isn't our home. This is our experience. It's understanding as long as we hold on to blame, we cannot forgive. As long as we do not forgive, we cannot love. Grace Elohim. We come to the realization that we are powerful manifesting beings, but yet we don't believe that we are. We contradict ourselves. You say to yourself that I am a very powerful manifesting being, but yet you contradict yourself and say, well, I'm not able, I can't, I don't see anything. Don't let your feelings take you hostage. Why would you? A lot of us do. When any negative feeling like anger, sadness, or despair, grief, depression, or guilt arises, try just sitting with it. Allow it to come into your body fully. Give it full permission to enter you. This is the only way you become the master of it. Running from it or suppressing it, it's the master of you. So when you allow this stuff, this anger, sadness, despair, grief, depression, and guilt, let it come on in, sit with it. How y'all doing? Then that's how you become the master of it instead of it taking you hostage and owning you. Giving your feelings space and time to be fully experienced will empower you completely. I don't know if you've ever tried it. You might want to. When you allow a feeling and experience to enter your body in the rawest form without the story attached to the feeling, you bring a deeper, more grounded energy into your body and mind. You become more present. You become more alive, less controlling, less fear-based, and more as a human being, as mankind. Don't dwell on them or the story. Just allow each feeling and sensation to flow through you. Walk through it. And with patience and curiosity, you will soon discover a much deeper peace that abides at your very core. You will truly become the master of your emotional life when you can feel all your feelings and enjoy them all. These are all guidelines. They're all like, it's like a roadmap for us. Maybe you get tired, okay? Maybe at times we get tired. But the soul is never tired. And when we want nothing and we seek nothing and we expect nothing, then the supreme state, the God state, will come to each of us uninvited and unexpected. Nisargadatta. We have an infinite source of energy, infinite, inexhaustible, all around us right now. Now, you might not be aware of it because you may be paying attention to your mind and all the other super important things it's focusing upon. Yet there is a source of divine, powerful, conscious, intelligent, electric energy here that they call our soul. And when you have full access to it, you can create anything you want in your life. Anything. Now realize that, because that's a definitive. That's not some made-up smoke and mirrors thing, wishful thinking. It is a fact. But to understand that is to be with the soul, not outside the soul. And it's to understand and be willing to stop leaking your energy by following all these incessant thoughts that we have passing through our heads each day, and simply be present to this absolute inexhaustible connection that is within your innermost being. It's ironic that one could see so easily, misexperiencing this great power inside of us, as this divine energy is closer to us than our next thought, breath, and heartbeat. Yet, if we try to find our soul using the mind, it simply will not work. We will overlook it because the mind is too small, logical, and narrow to truly comprehend and contain this vast, multidimensional spiritual energy. Your soul can only be found by surrendering the mind. It's the only way. When you open yourself to having a deeply intimate and personal connection to the greatest loving, healing, forgiving, and accepting energy, you can imagine that your soul connection comes rushing in. It's not that the soul could ever leave you. It is always here now, connected to all the energy, intelligence, and consciousness throughout the universe. It is always plugged into an infinite source of love and creativity. Your soul lives in a palace of peace, abundance, and true happiness about everything. For this eternal energy is the very foundation of its core. And once we let go, once and for all, of the mind completely, we see our suffering goes away with it. We feel this infinite connection to an energy that has no end to it. Your soul has no beginning, and it has no end. And so it cannot enter a state where it could lack energy. Since it has an infinite supply of life energy bubbling up from its core, the soul can never be tired. The soul doesn't know what it feels like to be lacking anything, as it's always connecting to a direct spiritual line of inexhaustible divine energy. any form of tiredness or suffering that we experience in this life is because we are living in the mind. That's important. Write that down somewhere. Have it. We wake up in the morning, see it on the wall somewhere. Any form of tiredness or suffering. And you could put, instead of we, you say, any form of tiredness or suffering that I experience in this life is because I am living in the mind. We have believed in certain concepts about who we are and who we are not, and we have forgotten that we are truly this eternal soul. If we look inside our minds, we will see that we have been fed misguided information along the path and educated by society to believe that we are this body that one day will die. We have not been taught by the world to believe we are eternal beings. If everyone truly believed this, there would never be another argument, struggle, or war on this planet. We would know only peace of being an infinite energy. If you spend enough time alone in silence and look deep enough inside yourself, you will one day realize that you truly are not this body, nor this mind. It won't come from the intellect. It will come from a much deeper place inside. You'll watch your thoughts passing through the brain and notice your feelings arising in the body. Yet, you will know that who you are is the eternal experiencer who is always in this moment having some type of life experience. Once we stop becoming so identified with the mind and body, we create space to experience ourselves as the soul, which is connecting to an infinite source of energy. The problem is that the mind tends to strongly believe in certain thoughts, and then the body feels those thoughts to be reality. The mind watches a movie of a violent scene, and the body starts to tense up, contract its muscles, and prepare for the perceived battle. The body is always reacting to the mind with specific sensations, gestures, and emotions. The mind has simply become too involved with the being identified as the body. So we believe that we are those sensations and nothing more, even though we know deep down that every experience in this life will soon pass. The mind gets identified with every thought and experience until it is truly liberated. This is what self-realization is all about. And when we realize the truth of who we are, this eternal being who is never attached, never over-identified, never suffers, and can never die, then we are free. When we realize the truth of who we are, all of us, this entire civilization, this eternal being who is never attached, never over-identified, never suffers, and can never die, then we are free. From this place, it's easy to see how ridiculous it is to get over-identified with anything of this world. And we stop the mind's identification habit in its tracks. It is the most beautiful moment in one's life when there is neither confusion nor certainty. One simply is a mirror reflecting that which is, with no direction to go anywhere, with no idea of doing something, with no future, just utterly in the moment, tremendously in the moment. Osho. And to truly transcend the mind, a soft, loving, vigilant awareness is the key. When we can consistently return to the realization that we are the source of pure awareness, that which is untouched and untainted by everything, then our souls start flooding its eternal source of amazing energy through our bodies. And when the mind and its belief systems are no longer the priority, they stop obscuring the view of the soul who is standing on the peak of the mountain. And we discover that we always were this eternal being. This knowing is what instigates a deep spiritually liberating experience inside each and every single one of us. What's interesting about the mind is that it can be quite stubborn and will attempt to pull you back into its temporal, time-bound, challenged reality again and again and again. And whenever you try to transcend the mind with using the mind will resist. This resistance is to be expected and welcomed, as it will force you to become stronger and force you to go deeper in your realization of your real soul nature. And with practice relaxing into it, there will come a day when the mind will surrender and give up its relentless, tiresome attempt at being right. You'll find one early afternoon that you truly are free, and the mind will have accepted that you truly are an infinite spiritual being. And having an occasional human experience instead of a limited time-bound being having an occasional spiritual experience. The long, gruesome, and internal struggle with the mind is essential if we deem our freedom from is worthy and valuable. The caterpillar who is about to leave the cocoon must wiggle, squirm, and work hard before its wings are strong enough to support its ability to fly. The newly planted banyan tree seed must be buried deep in the dark, cold dirt, suppressed by the gravity of the heavy, damp earth, in order for it to crack its shell and sprout up to reach the first light of the sun. The birth of every human baby undergoes a tremendous amount of exertion, which forces it to boost its antibodies and immune system so that it can handle the toxic elements of this world and survive. You'll find that within every birth and life, there is some form of struggle, and it is with this struggle that a deeper connection to spirit is created, which is exactly what every being needs to survive. Notice where you are struggling most in your life. Welcome that experience fully. Become the caterpillar growing your wings. Don't try to avoid, control, or resist what you're going through, for there is a deeper lesson inside it for you. No matter whether it's the biggest mental, emotional, or physical challenge you've ever had, say thank you to it, dive into the experience, and through to the other side. If it gets too intense, just step back from it a bit, take a full body breath, and then notice what emotions the mind has become identified with. You'll soon improve your ability to face anything hiding inside you, no matter how dark or depressing it may be. A good question to ask yourself is, what part of me wishes this situation was different than what it is? What part of you is not embracing this experience, seeing it as a sacred lesson of empowerment or your soul's infinite journey? If you stay curious long enough, you soon will see that your suffering in this life is not created from the emotional sensations in the body, yet is in your resistance to the actual experience. The sensation in itself can transform itself and become quite exhilarating and even fascinating. If you can get the mind and its judgments out of the way, then be patient and gentle with yourself throughout your process. No matter how many times you forget, never give up on this path of finding your soul and transcending the mind. In time, you will see that every effort you made to get beyond this identity was definitely worth the journey. So enjoy every single step along the way. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. and I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies, head to toe, inside and out. Let everything you're carrying that the mind has conjured up go. Let it all go. The body will respond immediately. It will fall into a relaxation. The stress, the anxiety will fold right off. And you'll know it. You'll feel it in the neck, your face, your shoulders, your fingertips, your feet, everything. All unnecessary. All no reason to carry it. And as you do this, you'll just feel the body just kind of sink into itself. It's a great feeling. And as you do this, as we all do this, we move into the now. And the now is so omnipotently powerful because the now moves you out of the mind and out of the ego and out of the subconscious mind. You step outside of it. Then you're able to view it through your heart. Then you're able to understand it through your heart. And this is a practice that many do repeatedly over and over again so that they eventually, the mind realizes that it is no longer needed. As well as the ego. To end all suffering, reside in the heart-mind. To end all suffering, learn to reside in the heart-mind. Learn to sit with your soul. So as you relax the body, you move into the now, you realize that the mind is always there trying to trick you. Some of us reminisce. We reminisce in our past, which is like an elephant graveyard, and we go into all the bones and all of the carcasses of our past, and we embrace certain things and review and go through the experiences, but then we go out, we move out of there. Unfortunately, some of us will just sit there and constantly live our past again and again and again. So we will eventually take that past, bring it into a future that doesn't exist. We will create that future from that past, relive that past in that future. Why so many people are exasperated in the fact that they seem to keep doing the same things over and over again, no matter how many times they try to do them differently. Other parts of us will go into a future that doesn't exist and constantly be consumed of when, what if this happens, what if that happens, when is this going to happen, when am I going to meet this person, when am I going to have enough money, when am I going to have enough time? And it's all futile because the only thing is the now. So how do you stay in the now? Because we have those thoughts. Even though we've stilled the mind, it doesn't give up sending these thoughts at us. And some of us will get carried off. None of us are exempt from it. So we get carried off with these thoughts. How do we stay in the now? Our breath. We focus on our breath. Breath is super powerful. It's divine positive energy. It literally sustains the vessel that houses the kingdom of God. It focuses us, relaxes us, calms us, centers us, eases us, It de-stresses us. It's very powerful. So we're not so much in the body. We're watching the body. We're connected to the body. We're seated with the soul, our soul. And we're out of the mind and ego. And we're with the heart, the soul. And so we watch the body, and we see that in the center of our bodies are 7 vibrant wheels of light. And they start from the tailbone, our tailbone, all the way to the top of our head. These are energy vortexes. Some people call them chakras. And flowing through these chakras is our God Force Love Light energy, our prana, our chi, our ki. And as it flows, you see these colored wheels of light. They all have different flowers, and in the center of the flowers are all different geometrical shapes. And they're not like any colors you would see on this planet, in this world. They're much more vibrant, deep, expansive. And so you take your divine positive energy and you mingle it with the God Force Love Light energy. You join it. And so these two energies, as you breathe, as you breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, this fountain of pure, omnipotently power energy flows up, out of the head and back down around. It's a perpetual fountain of pure, liquid energy. And we watch as we bring them up to the top of the head. So we follow this flow, this energetic flow. We follow it. And as we do, we start and see the red wheel of light. And the red wheel of light is the root chakra, the Muladhara. And this deals with our survival, and it is blocked by our fear. And it is it is 1. It is the first chakra. Then we go to the orange wheel of light. This is the sacral chakra, the Vadhisthana. And this deals with our pleasure, and it is blocked by our guilt. And then we move to the golden yellow wheel of light. This is the solar plexus chakra, the Manipura. This deals with our willpower, and it is blocked by our shame. Understand that fear, guilt, shame, illusions generated by the ego mind. Then we move to the emerald green wheel of light. This is the heart chakra, the Anahata. This deals with our love, and it is blocked by our grief. When you are in grief, you cannot love. Then we move to the blue wheel of light, the throat chakra, the Vishuddha. This deals with our truth, and it is blocked by our lies. Then we move to the indigo wheel of light. This is the third eye chakra, the Ajna. This deals with our insight, and it is blocked by illusion. And then we move to the crown chakra, the violet wheel of light. This is the Sahasrara. This deals with cosmic energy, the connection to the divine, with the God source. And it is blocked by ego attachment. Now we follow these energies all the way to the top of our heads, and we hold them there. We are light, we are love, we are God. And during that holding, we super condense and compress them into pure, omnipotently powerful liquid energy. It was already liquid, but we've supercharged it in the purest form possible. We release it over our pineal glands. Now, our pineal gland is important to us while we're in these bodies. None of us have a fully functioning one. But when we pour this liquid energy over it, you view it however you see it in your heart, mind's motion picture. I see it as a rosebud, a ball, a green ball. And as soon as I put this liquid energy over it, it instantaneously forms into a massive, fully bloomed rose with multicolored petals, sending out this beautiful aroma, fragrance, and this shimmering field of energy that just penetrates me. Every fiber, every existence. And it is the deepest, purest, eternal peace. And then I discover that that has always been within me. And the rose, as the pineal gland, wakes each of us up to that. Phenomenal experience. And you can experience it anytime you choose. We're also consciously, because of this, we are consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love. Our vibrational frequencies continually increase due to the fact that we choose them to do so. We are consciously aware. And this is by sitting with the soul. And when you're sitting with the soul, you feel through the heart mind. And the mind and the ego, they're what you watch. These bodies that we're in, the heart mind, the ego mind, the subconscious mind, the higher self, the soul, the spirit, the God, the pure consciousness, all one. All one. We are literally heaven on this earth. And every step we take, we knowingly are creating paradise. Every step, we knowingly are creating paradise. And we're shining our light, the actual God source creator, pure consciousness, all over everything. Flooding all of our brothers and sisters head to toe, inside and out, whether awake or asleep, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. We're flooding them all. Eternally, always. So a God planet, completely being liberated into the higher frequencies of deep eternal love and gratitude, where each one of us sits with the soul and feels through the heart mind, shining our light. So a God planet that glows. We are parts of the one. All of us make up the one. All across the great expanse. All across all existence. We make up the one. We are little gods who make up the one God. So we have the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda Christ, El Morya, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua. Many, many, many more. Both of them are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude.
Well, archangels are a civilization that vibrate at a different frequency than we do. So we don't see them like we see each other, but we meet with them more than we know. It's usually just a happenstance interaction. And sometimes it dawns on us that that wasn't just regular. That was an archangel. That was a cherubim. That was a seraphim. And they always have the same message, but it's delivered differently each time. And it usually is,
how wonderfully, phenomenally fantastic it is to be alive in these bodies. How stupendous it is. And what is that? What kind of a state do you move into with that understanding? A deep gratitude, which is eternal. Always in deep gratitude. Now, thousands can surround any one of us at any one time because of their vibrational frequency. They can house a large number in a small area. The ascended masters are those who have mastered ascension into physical form, out of physical form, hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form, or mastering physical form, and we're creating our experiences to perfect our creation. And we're also learning that we, each of us, is the light, is the true light, not the Luciferian illuminated one, but the true light, the true God, the consciousness of all creation. So we communicate with all those parts that are awake of the collective consciousness, as all of the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And yet only those that are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us in this now, in this meditation, forming this circle of light and the complete liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. In this now, in this meditation. And they come in the Gugaplexes. One Gugaplex fills this universe. They come in trillions of Gugaplexes from trillions of universes. And they are with us now consciously. We call upon all the inhabitants of inner Earth, hollow Earth, Agartha, and beneath Earth. Only those who are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us in this now, in this meditation, and the forming of this circle of light. And they come in the billions, and they are with us now consciously. We call upon all the off-worlders, galactic, celestials, from everywhere, in all existence, from every direction, in every system. Over 1,000 travel through the solar system every day. Trillions travel throughout the universes every day. Yet only those who are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, forming of the circle of light, in the complete liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. The ones that we're, kind of familiar with, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Feline, Zeta Reticuli, Norns, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian, many, many, many more. They've been assisting us in our evolution, in our enlightenment, in our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And in uncountable numbers, they are with us now consciously. We call upon all of our loved ones, all those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Only those who are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, in the forming of the circle of light. And they come in the billions, and they are with us now consciously. We call upon all the light energy beings who have decided to be housed in the following forms on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now, in this meditation. Only those who are consciously aware that they're of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, forming this circle of light. And they come in the billions, and they're with us now consciously. And the light energy beings who are housed in different forms on and above and below this planet, the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur, many, many, many more. We're all gathered, and we're all one. And all of us are consciously aware. There are other parts of the collective consciousness that are asleep. We are communicating with those who are awake and are consciously aware. Arm in arm, hand in hand, we're all one. We're together in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we are all one, the one. We are all God. We are all love. And our God force love light energy is in everything. All that there is, ever has, but ever will be, ever beyond and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We immediately form a massive circle of light at the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia Arya. This is the light, the God force love light energy at the core of our being. It is our soul who we sit with and where we go through the heart mind. This light is so bright that it grays out the darkness of space, sacred space. It would take 1,000 billion suns in this solar system alone to even come close to its radiance. And we are flooding all of our brothers and sisters, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, always, eternally, with this God force love light energy. You see it through your heart minds, your motion picture. You feel it through your heart mind. We begin to levitate above this planet, ascending. As we do, we come into contact with a massive ocean of glitter. It's everywhere. And it's reflecting, it's like these beautiful, vibrant lights, trillions of them, colored light, flashing everywhere. And when we look close up, we see these little perfectly etched mirrors reflecting all of us back and forth. And all of us as parts of the one, learning, educating, experiencing each other, teaching. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that reminds us all that we are the power of healing. We're then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that reminds us of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We're then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that reminds each and every single one of us that we are imbued head to toe, inside and out, with a white fire armor. This comes from our God Force love light energy deep within our core. It is impenetrable. No demons, no attachments, no creatures, no forces of darkness or evil, no energies whatsoever can harm us, ever. But only you have the power that if you lower your vibrational frequency low enough through hatred, greed, anger, distrust, hurry, envy, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, whether consciously or unconsciously, enough so to allow all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. If you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with the purple transmuting flame. This is a column of light that reminds each and every one of us that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are gone. Permanently. And we're met with the violet ray. This is a column of light that we can bring in right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleansing and purifying the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies of deep eternal love and gratitude. And again, we reside with our soul, and we view through the heart mind. We continue to levitate, to ascend above this planet, and some of us step outside our physical form, float effortlessly above them, if we're carrying physical form. We come into full view of this massive crystalline light tower. We created it. It's larger than the solar system. So it's effortless to view the center column, and in that center of that column, this oblong sphere with beautiful bands of shimmering colored lights, and in the center is this massive golden white ball of light, and it flickers and sends out shimmering waves of mist that penetrate us head to toe, inside and out. This is deep eternal love. The rest of the waves and colored lights that send the same shimmering out to penetrate us are gratitude, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, well-being, wealth, abundance, prosperity, eternally, always. These are all reflections of the gods that we are. At the top, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, as it does eternally, as it does and floods all of our brothers and all life, the highest supreme value universe, on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. Those asleep, those awake, makes no difference. They're all being flooded. We are drops of this golden ocean. We hold the essence of this golden ocean. The ocean is the drops, and the drops are the ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere at set center circle. We created this sphere over 3 years ago. It holds all of our meditations in perpetual motion, well over 1,200. See, feel
through your heart mind how omnipotently powerful that is. All of us literally intending the highest of vibrational frequencies consciously for all life, all existence, lifting the very fiber of this planet and this civilization into those higher frequencies as they awaken and choose to do so. This doesn't end. It is eternal. That's why this meditative sphere can be seen, heard, and felt in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. And this is why it continues to intensify, and this is why it continues to expand. Reside consciously with your soul. View and feel through the heart mind. And eventually, the mind will be nowhere to be found. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out.
take an easy breath in through the nose, an easy breath out through the mouth. Move slowly, easily. Sit with your soul. Enjoy its company. Be at ease. You will find that you'll become closer and closer and closer with your soul. And the two of you will feel through the heart-mind and view from the heart-mind. Take this with you for the rest of the day, and for the evening and night, and the following morning. And we'll return here Friday, February 26, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.